Hello everyone and welcome to the Majestic. This 2020 PDGA A-Tier is taking place at Blue Ribbon Pines, and a great group here for you today. Team Westside's Nikko Locastro, Discraft's own Terry Rothlisberger, also of Discraft, Austin Hannum, and Noah Meintsma of Team Innova, all joining us here for the front half of round number 1. This coverage wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the supporters that you see right there on the screen. I'll be mentioning them throughout, but thank you guys so much, including Parsave, who worked with us on these great drone previews and flyover graphics. Hole 1, 340 feet, pretty straightforward. We're playing to a slightly longer pin. The shorter pin is there on that right side. We're going right past, and you're really looking to get off the block here with a birdie to get things started. Nikko Locastro loves to throw these flex turnover shots. Plenty of stability. I believe that's his Ati.
Next up, out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, Noah Meintsma.
Noah coming off being part of the Sandy Point Team Invitational, which was just the weekend before. He played for Wisconsin's Madison-based team as they were
Next up,
crowned
out of
champions.
Rosemont, the Dream, Terry Rothlisberger.
And Terry Rothlisberger, aka the Dream, not quite finding the clearing. And last to tee, Discraft's own Austin Hannum. And Austin is a very fast player. In fact, as he put himself over there, gentlemen. I think I completely miss his approach shot. He gets up and throws, which I really do appreciate as a player and a fellow competitor, but sometimes I forget that as a cameraman. So Terry has a simple approach to get things started. Austin's already now next to the pin. This is Noah for birdie. Solid opening. Nico's gone just deep of the pin. You hear a little rustling of the trees. You see the leaves blowing just a little bit. It is a very, very calm and beautiful day, though, overall at Blue Ribbon Pines. Nikko also opens with a birdie. And we'll see a couple of pars. That comes in as the 22nd most difficult hole, so not incredibly challenging. It averaged 2.77 on the opening round. And if you're familiar with Blue Ribbon Pines, we're seeing a little bit of a safari style golf here. We actually have two holes that are combined here to make hole number 2. 450 total feet. This is considered a par 4. And with them combining regular holes 2 and 3, this makes things a lot more challenging out here. Nikko second guessing himself a little bit, saying that he was through right where he was looking. And we're going to see a lot of Nova shots by Noah. Really seems to have those under control.
Oh, no.
And Austin looking for that inside line. And this kind of filters, there's a little bit of, we'll say, an island because of the way these two holes come together. So the drone took you kind of down the left path, but we're seeing Nikko and others now fighting over to the right path. And that's the regular fairway for hole number 3. So you see that's what Terry's trying to take right now. is what would be the normal fairway of hole 3. Thank you to the good stop, but not so much thank you to the initial tree. And Austin just put himself in a pretty good position, a little bit on that left side. Unfortunately, he doesn't stay clean. Here's some birds chirping. It's about 1:45 in the afternoon. A great shot there by Noah. Beautiful Saturday afternoon. These guys will be playing 27 total holes. This first video will give you the front half of those. And Nikko couldn't see the pin, but it went right past the chains. This hole comes in as the 14th most difficult hole on the course, averaging 4.08. And a little spoiler, you're not going to see the one eagle that came in on this hole. There was a single 2. It was a throw in from 77 feet by Josh Miller. And he had the only 2 carded during this opening round. Exactly 50% of the field took pars here. Only 22% of the field took birdies or the single eagle. So I feel like this is just a hole that you don't want to give away any big numbers. There's a lot of trouble to find here. And walking away with a par isn't going to kill you. Huge shout out to the crew at Blue Ribbon Pines, Angie and Ray, and then I know this entire collection of people that they have out there always tirelessly working in order to make this event happen. And here we go, one of the most signature holes in all of disc golf. Today this weekend, it's called hole number 3. Normally it's hole 4. 444 feet straight down the gauntlet. I don't know what else you can really say about this. There's OB on the far left side. If you kick out of the gauntlet and you go far enough to the left, you can find an OB string. And a layup by Nikko. A very, very conservative shot. I believe that's a crown putter. Noah asking for that to kick out, but he should be just on that left side. Austin got up very quickly. I wasn't ready for him. Look at that. Just really picture perfect.
Great shot. Thanks. Why do I keep doing that?
That's a nasty kick there for Terry. Kick him off to the right. We'll see what kind of work he has. He says he's just trying to pitch back out to the fairway, and then he doesn't get himself all the way out, and he still has that to go. Now he's going to have a patent pending stance. I cannot stress this enough, everyone. Go out and practice this style of throw. There's plenty of things you can find yourself to put yourself behind. And just practice how difficult that throw is. When you see it done well, you can appreciate it so much more. That was a great shot by Terry with the control. As I was checking out the squishy mini there by Nikko. Again, this is a putter.
No, Nikko.
Kick back to the left side. And Nova, unfortunately, also was a little on that right side. He doesn't quite get out cleanly. But a smooth forehand puts him right next to the pin. He's hopefully looking at a par. This came in as the 4th most difficult. Austin is finally getting to throw his second shot. As he's approaching with a Luna. Back it up, Terry. Back it up. He is struggling mightily here, and I don't mean to poke fun at him, but he is having his challenges here. And you can understand how that happens out here on this hole. I mean, you just need the accuracy, and then you need to not get flustered. So I believe this is for bogey 5. 22% of the field took 3s here on this hole. And we feel you. So he's going to take the double bogey. This averaged 4.4. It's 444 feet. And the 4th most difficult. And it's normally hole number 4. Not so good at math, but I think that's just a lot of coincidence. All right, we're moving on. Another combined hole. So we're playing what are typically 2 holes that are back-to-back. They combine them for this layout. And this is a little bit of a beast. 565 feet. We find the OB right there. We're flying over it as we speak. And then comes to a really fast green. That's assuming you stay clear of all the trees. We've got 3 of our competitors sitting 1 under. And that looks like a really good line there by Austin. Kind of surprised to not see him go with his forehand. You're really trying to push that right side. Nikko.
Why?
I think he was saying why, not wide. But it was a little wide. And what a smooth turn by Noah. And that's what I mean by keeping it tight and getting the skip flare. Surprised to not see Austin go with that same approach. He's so solid with that forehand. And Nico's kick finds him inside that white area, so to speak, or the marked off by the white pillars. That's going to be out of bounds. And Noah skips up and finds himself near the pin. That looks pretty good for a birdie. Oh, and Austin's drive was so tasty. It's a wide mix of emotions that can happen out here on this hole and throughout the entire course, but especially on this hole. And that's exactly why you see Nikko struggling there just to keep his forehands clean. And I'd like to say it only gets easier from here. Statistically, that's true. This comes in as the toughest hole on the course, averaging a half stroke over par. It plays as a 4.5, 14% of our field taking the birdie 3. Nikko for par, trying to save it. Just a little splash out on that right side. Meanwhile, Terry following up his double bogey with the birdie here, the lone birdie on hole 4 for this group. And that's some calm cool resilience displayed by Terry there. Great shot. Nikko's going to walk away with a double. And then a couple of pars, and we're going to move on to hole number 5, 620 feet. You see a lot of players will basically try to shoot this gap. If you land anywhere near that drop zone right there, that pad that we just flew over, that is considered a pretty good shot. That should give you a straight shot to the basket with just a little bit of left fade to it, a little bit of hyzer. 2 perfectly straight shots. Whoa. Oh. It's Terry admitting that wasn't trying to go that inside gap. When you're looking at a pure shot, that's what you'd see. Austin did hit a late tree. He should still be in pretty good position. And I believe someone like Noah actually has to club down to something like his Nova, simply because he doesn't want to push himself all the way to the water's edge. Oh, well, yep. Okay, I just fell off the bench. No big deal. Still got the shot. I lost my balance. That would have just hooked up a little bit more. That was a good shot by Austin. He's got a little work to do. Wow, beautiful shot by Locastro. If you do hyzer out, onto this right side, or left side, correction, you just want to make sure you don't get all the way to the tree line that you're seeing on the left side. But if you're straight or left, you kind of have either a straight shot or a slight hyzer shot to the pin from here. And Terry, maybe with his footing, just didn't quite capitalize, because him and Noah are in prime position right here. This is exactly where you want to be. And I was mentioning Noah possibly laying off a little bit. You see that pond almost come into play for him. I mean, he's short of it, but I think he's probably throwing, the putter-like disc just so that he doesn't get all the way to the pond. Most players wouldn't have to worry about that. And a good lunging putt by Hannum. Low right side and in for Noah. He's going to push himself to 2 under. I want to thank Par Save not only for their flyovers, but also I want to thank UDisc, who obviously has just been killing it from the live scoring perspective. We have all their stats and information to look at throughout the weekend. Austin giving Terry a hard time as they're clearing out. We're going to move over hole number 6, 372 feet with a custom basket at the end. I believe this is typically hole number 8 if you're out here playing in a standard configuration. We get the purple and yellow Kobe basket. And that flips up so nice, but then hits a late tree. That's a star leopard Noah had showed me. This hole ties for the 5th most difficult on the course. That hooks up for Nikko at the end. I want to also thank Bobby from Terrace Web Design, Terrace LLC. Bobby had worked on the Preserve website, and we'll be back in Minnesota in a few weeks to check out Cale's new place, as that's kind of trying to bounce toward the pin. So Bobby, thanks for the support. Also want to thank Billy Sage Ashton who has provided some photos for the thumbnails. And trying to take the super skinny route there is Austin. Patrick, Wade, and Zack, all also supporters of this weekend's coverage, in addition to my Patreon subscribers, Jason Wilder, Cale, and Chasing the Bees. And we'll talk about him a little bit later as Austin's trying to fight himself out of the shul on the left side. Noah just teasing himself there a little bit. Thought he had it.
Finally got one up high. Get it in the... Seriously.
Nikko reminding himself the object of the game. I can appreciate that. It seems like the whole card needs a gentle reminder. So close. I don't think you guys are doing Kobe any justice here. He was, I think, far more accurate than what we just saw there. And again, this comes in as the 5th most difficult hole. 372. And we're going to see another basket out there. A little commemorative coloring. Hole 7. 155 feet. Just got to be clean. I've seen some jump putts off the tee. I've seen an ace. Paul Ulibarri aced this in practice a few years ago, which I have. Maybe I'll link it up there in the video for you guys, as him and I were out there just practicing, goofing around, and he carded the ace. There's not a lot to this hole. I feel like you'd like to say it's a pretty easy gap to hit, and it really seems like it is, as Nikko proves right there. But the entire time you're playing it, all you're thinking is, don't miss this. Don't miss this. It's 155 feet. Don't miss this birdie.
No! Why you suck?
And Terry with the reverse affirmations. Oh, here's a jumper. Oh no, right into the same exact tree. And some struggles there. Austin's approach putt there was possibly longer than his drive. This is, maybe by no surprise, although this group's not proving it, this is the easiest hole on the course statistically. Played 2.66, which is 0.34 under par. 42% of the field taking the birdie. 50% of the field taking a par. And 9 players taking above par. I don't want to call any of them out, but at least one of them would wildly surprise you, because he may have a USDGC title. All right, we're going to move over to 8. Just 165 feet. The problem is it's a right turn. So as you're following the path, I personally would love to see this in the short pin, which is right there where that cone is. They've, a few years ago, created this longer pin to push it back. I like the idea of the hole. I feel like even getting to the short pin is tough enough. And we're going to see some Sky Annies. It's so tight off the tee. That's why I'm here, kind of at this turn, just to try and get a sense of where these are actually landing. Looks like Nikko and Terry are almost on top of one another there. Austin not quite tight enough. And what maybe would have aced the short pin. Noah right next to the cone. Just 165 feet. And giving our players plenty of challenge as this comes in as the 11th most difficult hole. Maybe no surprises here. It's at 0% parked. Just a tough hole really to get at. Not from a lack of effort. Nikko with a great putt. And I'll be the first to admit that I did not give, this angle doesn't give enough justice here to how difficult Austin was telling us that putt really was.
About half that basket. It's not fun from that close.
Yeah, he said he could barely see the basket, and he really had to put more hyzer on it probably than my angle, but I didn't want to move to try and give you a better angle because I knew these next two putts were going to be in position. This is Nikko trying to save his par. And just 3 birdies.
Par 4.
Calling it a par 4. Chris Hall, Mitch Privet, and Billy Armstrong. Your only 3 birdies on that hole. Congratulations. Move over to hole 9, a par 4. 520 feet. You need to just find the center of this fairway. If you get it to turn at this bend, I feel like that's bonus, but then that just sets you up for a straight shot with a pond in front of you. The only mistake here is hitting something early. Or should I say the worst mistake here is hitting something early. Putting Nikko in that position is perfectly fine.
It's terrible.
I haven't been.
Nikko said, I don't know if we're playing the same hole or we got a different game plan here because Terry was not happy with that. And Nikko was perfectly content with his shot. And Austin gets the slow clap. Like he's got a whip. Looks pretty good there by Noah. Nikko's got a little bit of turn to put on this.
Sit. Stick right in there, huh?
Oh, and
You fucking piece of shit.
Jason Wilder, our TD
Fucking
extraordinaire helper, runs it over not only to mark it, but also to indicate that Nikko is in fact out of bounds. This is what Terry's left with. Oh, it gets the skipper and the bank. Gotta play it off the backboard. And Noah, wow, making easy work as well here of hole number 9. Austin's crush gives him this little, oh, just a little approach. Nikko went into this side of the water, so he'll take it from there, and he's able to save his par. Jason getting at it. I'm not sure if that's an attachment that normally goes onto a Zuka cart or not. I know Zuka is also a gracious supporter and sponsor of so many things in disc golf. That's the, yeah, that doesn't look like an official Zuka rake. And there's the shack right there. If you're looking to order some kind of food or beverage or have some food made, you can actually call the number, and in the next few holes, when you come back around and you're on the front side of that shack, your food will be ready to go. So just another little fun component out here at Blue Ribbon Pines. In addition to the little putter style course that they've put together that's off and to the right of where we're standing at the moment. So always innovating, always having fun. Ray and Blue Ribbon Pines, just really an incredible adventure. Oh, there it is. Fish that one out. Nice work, Jason. 325 feet for hole number 10. This one plays to an elevated basket. There's not much to say other than you really just have to pick your line and then just execute it. And that might seem a little John Madden-esque, but you've got really one or two lines and you just have to execute it. I feel like there's a forehand line or there's a right hyzer line. Terry, not quite. That one turned over on Austin. It looked like he hit the initial gap, but then it just got up and turned over on him. I think the righty backhand route is the most preferred. But somebody with a really efficient forehand, I feel like, could also attack this with a righty forehand. And it kind of dips off down by the basket up there. We'll see that in a moment. Here's solid approach by Noah. Nikko calling out Terry saying, it looked like mid-swing you were ready to actually give that a run.
On the board.
Nikko, solid putt. This comes in as the 17th most difficult. 11% of the field taking birdies here. Austin's going to fall into the 13%, unfortunately, that were over par. This averaged 3.03. 76% of the field taking pars. Terry with a horror story as we move over to hole number 11. This really plays as a peninsula. The entire path as you walk out that we're on right now is in bounds, but if you're short of the wider circle area, you're going to find yourself out of bounds. So you see the white stakes. Those actually indicate that that is all in bounds until it gets to the wider area where it flares out.
Fly is what you need to do.
Getting back to the basics with Nikko. And Terry's out in the open, 250 feet. Really the challenge though is just making sure you stay clear right here. Like if you hit something before you get into that opening, you're likely going to be out of bounds. So clearly it's not necessarily the distance that's the problem. The other thing you have to worry about is as you're coming through, the wind that's in this tunnel, or lack thereof, might be different than when you get up toward the basket. So a good looking shot. You don't see the flag blowing at all. Nice putt.
I got it too.
What I think would be really funny and mean all at the same time is if our course designers or installers would have put different weighted flags on the baskets, but then have them be the exact same color. So this might be of a different material, and it takes a 20-mile-an-hour wind for it to blow, but then on a different hole. Oh, that's just ruthless. I just thought of that while I'm sitting here all alone. That would be funny and ruthless all at the same time, is different weights. If we need any other conversations, we could have them, because Nikko gives us that kind of timing. Austin backs off. The next tee is off and to the right, so he's making sure he's free of distraction. Feels like he might have talked himself out of that one. I know the OB string is behind there, so it's something to think about if you were to miss. But it
Best putter in the world.
kind of feels like he talked himself out of that one, and Nikko jams it in. We're going to move over to hole number 12. This has a great shape to it in that you're throwing across the field, but then into a protected area as it bends from left to right. And if you go deep of the pin or to the right of the pin, you're going to find yourself out of bounds. And the drop zone is, I'll say, kind of punishing. You actually have to bring it back quite a ways, probably to 60 or 70 feet, regardless of where you went out of bounds. And Terry, such a good shot. The problem is he doesn't bring it in right where he went out of bounds. In this case, you go to a designated drop zone. So any OB shot goes to the drop zone off the tee here. Noah keeps that in bounds, no problem. Nikko also keeps it in bounds, short. Austin playing the flex. Oh, that's just dirty. Had that been able to finish or just not kicked him out of bounds, it would have been a totally different result. Instead, he'll join Terry on the drop zone. This is for Austin to save his par. And also drew medal. So this averaged 3.29 during the opening round. Noah said he's being teased. These guys will tap out. There were 4 or 5 distractions for Nikko. And so eventually these guys just were, he told these guys to go ahead and just tap out. Oh, and he makes the wait worth it. Great putt by Locastro. And Noah will take the par. So again, 7th most difficult hole, averaging 3.29. We move over to hole 13. And this is just a big one, 425. The distance isn't so bad, but you really need to get it high and wide to play out and around the trees that we're going past on the left side. You see the short pin there, much more attackable, much easier shot. I decided to go out to somewhat where the swing would be for this. And I just love watching the disc come in from long range like that. And Nikko finds himself short, but it somehow stays out of the, we'll say, roped in OB creek area. So he is safe. Less cabbage, more wood, more OB. And looks like Terry just hung this out so much wider, and it pays off. Getting clear around the trees. We'll see if Austin likes the angle. Incredible. Great shots. And those are just pure power hyzers. So Nikko catches a break by staying inbounds.
Oh no. Roll.
But unfortunately,
You guys are up there now?
kind of gives it right back. Noah's able to bring his back inbounds. And almost saves the par.
So close today, boys. What the heck?
Terry's got a long birdie attempt, and as we're starting to close things out, I want to ask you guys, if you have played Blue Ribbon Pines, and if you've seen from the first 13 holes, if this is a place you'd like to play. If not, why not? That's what I'd love to know. But thank you to all the supporters, all the sponsors, Patrick, Wade, Zack, Billy, Bobby, Ray, Angie, Parsave, Udis, Jason, Cale, and my Patreon subscribers. This is all because of you that this coverage could even happen here.
Not gonna.
And Nikko
You're
just really just gave one back. That's all I can say there. After catching a break and then not able to get up and down, we see the rest of the guys pulling in. And looking forward to seeing you guys in the back half here of round number 1, 2020 Majestic.
Did I really?
Love having you guys along. Look for more action coming at you. We'll see you for the back half in just a moment.